So there was a question on my service desk where the requirement was to send an email when the versions are created or released. And let me read the question. And I'm feeling so good right now because I'm doing it on my own service desk. Usually I do that on the community, which is I think great. Everyone should spend time on the community and try to help if you can. Not because you should be helping, but in case you want to learn and in case you want to become good in what you are doing, especially if you want to acquire more skills uh, around Atlassian tools, then I think we all should spend time on the community. Um, so going back to the question. So the question is, good morning, Ravi. I have a Jira service. I have a Jira project, not service, desk project with new diagram for cards. I need to differentiate audience first who will first receive email at the beginning and ending of a release. This is Jira Cloud. And this question was asked with uh, Jira uh, automation and ScriptRunner component. So just trying to share. So whenever you have a service desk, if you have components, you should configure them because, I mean, if you want to basically categorize your request, you should configure components, not the other way around. I mean, components are there for you to categorize your tickets in a better way. So when you raise a ticket for me, you can always select if you need help with Jira Cloud or Jira Server, ScriptRunner for Jira on server or cloud, automation, REST API, and so on. So the main thing that we have to figure out here is how to listen for these events related to the versions. Now the good thing is that you can do this using both automation and ScriptRunner for Jira on cloud, of course. Let's start with automation. So if you want to, by the way, if you want to learn how Jira Cloud Automation works, you can take a look at my playlist. I have plenty of videos where I have described, I believe, each and everything that you can potentially do. I mean, not each and everything, but each and every type of automation that you can do. And I have talked about in one of my video how to listen for the event that will do something when the version is created. So you can take a look at this video. And by the way, whenever I respond to my questions, to the questions asked on my channel, basically on my service desk, I try to create a page out of it, like a conference page, so that when someone is asking the same question, they can also take a look at this article. So I've shared the link here. Um, just trying to share a few things. Now, this can be done with automation, and let me show you the automation rule, by the way. So if you go to the automation rule, if you search for the trigger, you will find 4 triggers: version created, version released, version unreleased, and version updated. So I think this is good enough for most of the use cases. But of course, with the help of ScriptRunner for Jira, you can do a lot more. Now, in ScriptRunner for Jira, there is a feature called as a listener. And by the way, again, if you want to learn how listeners work, you can take a look at my videos, especially this video where I talked about a listener. And the way listener works in ScriptRunner, it is of course same. You basically listen for the events and you basically run a script. And let me show you one of the listener. So this is the listener where I'm sending an email, and this is basically what you wanted to do uh, in the question. So what you need to do is you basically need to listen for the events, like on which event this script will run, and then you can you can send your email body. I mean, you can configure. I mean, let us not get into the details of the script because the script can do quite a lot. And by the way, if you're trying to do the same thing, and if you're trying to learn ScriptRunner for Jira on cloud, do take a look at these examples. So whenever you're trying to do something with a script with ScriptRunner, you have plenty of examples here, like these links. When you click on them, you will get the script, and all you need to do, you just need to modify the script slightly. So it is very easy to use ScriptRunner for Jira on cloud as well, because there are plenty of examples. Now talking about the events on cloud using ScriptRunner for Jira, if you compare it with automation, there are actually couple of few additional events like version deleted and version moved. So you can do the same thing using ScriptRunner. Of course, with ScriptRunner you have more flexibility because you can add more logic, business logic to your script as compared to, of course, automation rules. Using automation rules, if you create a new, let us say you want to send an email when the version is released or when the version is created. Let us use version released and save it and add a component, go to action, then select send email. So this is fine, but as you can see, it is of course no code based approach. You can basically do a lot of things, but as compared to your script, the way you configure things here, they are mostly based on what the UI has to offer. But sometimes, or I should say often, we have to add more logic uh, to basically our automation, and with the help of ScriptRunner you can actually do that quite easily with the help of course uh, I mean there's this user interface which is great, but you can do lot more when you're able to write your own script, because it is a script. You can't really compare it with the things that UI has to offer. You can, if you have some programming background, you can do a lot of wonderful things. And again, for if you're doing anything with the cloud, with cloud, Jira Cloud, you have to understand how REST API works, and try and experiment with REST API. Again, trying to plug in my courses, my free courses that I have been creating. I basically want you to look at it if you want to do that. So basically, if you go to my website and if you go to Mastering Jira REST API, I have talked about only REST API, and it is very simple if you want to start learning how to do it. Uh, there is, I mean, what I do normally when I have to understand how REST API works, and if I have to explain to someone, especially when I have to explain it to someone, I don't really get into the programming part. I mean, of course, you can use REST API in any programming language. Most of the programming languages have this capability to consume REST API endpoints. But if you have to explain to someone, or if you're trying to learn it yourself for the very first time, I highly recommend you to take a look at this extension, which I don't have installed right now, but the extension is called as Talent API. So let me just type here Talent API extension for Chrome, I guess. So this is a great app, or you can use, I guess, Postman. I never really used Postman. I'm sure there are plenty of other similar tools, but having an extension in the browser is convenient because you can go always, while you're doing something, you can always jump into this app extension, and you can make a quick REST call. I mean, you can, of course, you don't need, to be honest, you don't even need this extension if you're doing simple GET request. You can do that using the browser, but with the help of this extension, you have the capability to basically pass in the body, also authorize, and it is much more convenient. And the way you can configure things here, it will give you a lot of options. Like you always have the option to, whenever you have this REST endpoint which you have configured and it is working great, you can then export it to curl, and and this works great, to be honest. And and the good thing is that you can export and import as well using I mean, it will export all the configurations, all the things that you have configured here, all the endpoints. What I normally do for all the common REST endpoints, I keep a list of my endpoints here, like get this, get that, update this, whatever. And whenever I'm not sure, or whenever I have to look at or have to analyze the JSON body, the response that you get, you can use this tool to analyze the JSON body, and because it is a proper tool for making REST calls, it will give you a lot of formatting options. So it is always convenient to use a tool like Talent API Tester. You can of course do that. You don't have to, but just a small thing, a small suggestion. In case you're trying to learn automation on cloud, number one, get familiar with REST API and use a tool like API Tester to make things quick and easy for you. So that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you also learned something new today. Thank you very much.